What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today, BTC USD. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, my friends. It is the 26th day of August. $110.8 thousand is the price. 5 hours left in the day here. A lot of people are calling for this to be the low. A lot more are calling for us to go lower, but I'm not completely convinced one way or the other yet. I suppose I am still leaning on the side of we could come down a little bit more. We'll divulge that information or kind of dissect these charts on the shorter term time frames and see if I can change my opinion by the end of this video. But there's a couple reasons for that. You know, counter to my thoughts there, I do follow other analysts on YouTube and on X.com, and all of my favorite analysts, except for one, they're basically all calling for this to be the low. They're all calling for this to be the low and that we're moving up. And that didn't happen at any of these other lows. They were excited whenever we moved up and stuff like that, but that gives me a little bit of confidence that maybe this is low and that we do move up, but I still remain skeptical, right? It's not just my favorite analysts that are calling for this to be the low. If we look at Bitcoin over the past day on the Bitcoin liquidation map here, across Binance, OKX, and Bybit, there are actually more longs piled on than there are shorts. Less than 3 billion in shorts, a little bit over 3 billion in longs. You know, this is not typical, in my opinion, of a bottoming type of day, right? You don't get more longs than shorts. Not that it can't happen. And obviously, we look at the 7-day time frame, the shorts eclipse the longs. The longs on the 30-day time frame are absolutely decimated compared to the shorts. There's about $18 billion worth of shorts piled on over the past month. We got a lot of funds to run through all the way up to 127K and beyond, absolutely. But it wouldn't surprise me. You look at this, there's kind of this last little island of longs right here to be cleared out at about 107.4K. We are right around the area that I think is acceptable to find lows, right? We had our low at 100 and it says 100 and is that 108.7K? Yeah. That could be the low area after all if we're looking at this on a price perspective. We are finding our support at prior resistance here, even in these prior resistance areas here. If we look at this is kind of what makes me think we go lower, right? Just on a very simple look, we take the low to high here. I'm not taking this high. Even if I took this high, which is the fake out high, I wouldn't take that because it's not relative to this move up. It's relative to this move up. It's different, and it's the fake out high. It's a fake out of this overall consolidation phase. Even if we took that, though, the golden ratio is still a little bit below that low. And then this high here, the golden ratio is right down there. Now, granted, Bitcoin has loved to find support at its 0.5 Fibonacci this whole damn cycle. It really has. But whenever it finds support, it doesn't do this. It normally hits it and then moves up. Yesterday would have been a better example of finding a low than today would have been. So with that, $107.1 thousand, and typically, and I have two white lines down here because the golden ratio acts more of like a zone instead of a specific line. So 105.4K, 107.1K, we could do any of that, guys. And it could happen very, very fast. It could happen at the flip of a switch, and then we're back up. And when we come back up, I would bet there's not going to be as many longs piled on. You know, maybe over a 24-hour period, there would be more longs piled on if we have a very robust reaction, but I would expect there's going to be less longs than $3 billion worth piled on at the lows. That's just my thoughts there. We're going to decimate all of them. That's my thoughts. You know, I could be wrong. Before we get going too much further in the video, I want to give a special shout out to All American Crave. I got this sick bucket hat from them. They sent me some actually really cool swag. Shout out to Anthony and his woman from All American Crave. You guys, if you're looking for a high quality brand of clothes, this is not a sponsorship or a paid sponsorship. I've just been talking with Anthony for a little while, and they sent me some stuff. And you guys, I'm actually pretty impressed with their stuff. I'm going to send a link to their stuff if you guys want to check it out in a pinned comment below. Again, this isn't a paid advertisement. It's not an affiliate link or anything like that. I'm just, giving a shout out to a good company from good people. I just thought about it because I looked at the hat there. So I'm going to be wearing this hat in every single video today, and I'll probably leave a link in every video as well. But just wanted to give a little shout out before we get going too much further. It would make sense to go down the golden ratio again. 107. That's like the only time I've ever done that in the history of this channel, you guys. I don't promote other products, right? But I've always said I would promote other products if I liked them, if I used them, if I supported them myself, if I thought that you guys could get some value from it. And man, they're pretty high quality stuff. I'll talk more about it at the end, actually, if you guys are curious. But let's see, 30-day time frame here. Clearing out these longs down here. This whole island is at about 106.7K, $107,000 itself. 7-day time frame right here, $107,000 right there. It just makes sense that we'd go down to that $107.1 thousand area right there, down to the golden ratio. Daily RSI rejecting the 50. We could hit the oversold zone. Stochastics look bearish. MACD's crossing below the 0, which is not a good thing to say the least. You know, I mean, it wouldn't be too crazy to go lower. Let's look at the 1 hour time frame and see if I'm wrong. Okay, 1 hour time frame here. The RSI does have higher lows and higher highs. It looks like it's trying, but we have higher highs here with lower highs in the price. That is hidden bearish divergence. It's not a good thing, right? It's actually not a good thing. Stochastics are struggling to get overbought. That's not a good thing either. And the MACD, while you are green right now, you're still in a bearish posturing overall. I'm not really thrilled by that. I would say that we are likely to come back down. I would, just by looking at this here. But it's not really conclusive on these indicators. And that makes sense because really we've been moving sideways, right? We've been moving sideways for, why did it just glitch? Okay, moving sideways for basically this whole day. So I'm not really wooed one way or the other. I suppose it's not necessarily conclusive to the downside or the upside, but being that the trend right now is down, I think sticking with the trend might make sense. The 4 hour RSI, you're getting these opportunities, man, bouncing off the oversold zone, but you're just doing nothing with them. You're at this area, the same area now that you've rejected the last 2 times. Are you going to break through or are you going to reject? We got 1 hour left here, and then we got 2 more. Do we have 1 hour? 1 hour? We have 1 more 4 hour candle by the end of this day. I'm curious to see how it goes. The stochastics look like they're ready to come up. Whenever you get both of these oscillators outside of the oversold zone and into the band, that's nice. But you know, pending this close, if over the next hour we come back down, that could very much be the signal we're looking for that we're going to go lower. The MACD rejecting the 0, that's not a good look in itself. And typically, whenever you reject the 0, let's just see if we can find the last example we did this. You kind of rejected it here. Okay, I would call that a rejection off the 0, right? Whenever you found support and you started moving higher, look at the histogram. You had deep red building here, and then you had deep red building here, but it was at a decaying rate, right? You had higher lows. We don't have higher lows yet. Maybe we need to decay a little bit more, get some higher lows in the MACD histogram, and then that'll mark the low, which would also promote lower prices. So lower prices, higher lows, bullish divergence, maybe on the MACD and the stochastics. Hell, maybe even on the RSI is what's needed. I don't know, just with the way I'm looking at this, I don't know if we'll get bullish divergence on the RSI. Maybe we do, maybe we don't, but I wouldn't be too hung up on that. We don't need it. And then also taking this into account, you know, we looked at the overall low that we had back in, when was that? April 7th? Was that the low that we were measuring from? No, June 25th. From that low to high, the golden ratio is at about $107,000, which coincidentally lines up with all these liquidation levels. Golden ratio right there too. Perfect area to go to. Beyond that, if we take a low here, the low from August 2nd to the high here on August 14th, okay, that's nice. We hit the 1272. So right there, we hit that right on the head. $107,000. Think about it like this. Okay, the 1414 is that target area. And again, the base of that golden ratio zone would actually be here, even at this golden ratio area. We could hit 105K. But typically with the 1414, when you interact with that, you wick below it. You don't close. You typically don't find support like you did here at the 1272. You don't find support right at it. Typically what you do is you go a little bit below it and then you close above it. So we'd see a wick below and a close above. That's what we'd be looking for, okay? Or if we close below, ideally the next candle would close above if that happens. But something just below 107.4K, which again, all these freaking liquidations, man, they happen right there. I mean, you'd clear out this whole island right there at $107,000. It would make a lot of sense to go down there. I'm not saying we have to, but also typically if you find support at the 1272, you move up at a rather good pace. Why are we dilly-dallying? Whenever you dilly-dally like this, that makes me think that you are going to go lower. Time will tell. We'll see how it goes. But all in all, I'm just not convinced at this point in time that we're ready to move up yet. A little bit lower to go. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope I am wrong. If I am wrong, that's okay, right? You can be wrong for a little bit. And then oops, oh, I got that right there. I don't know. Let me see if this is anybody. Hold on, guys. Give a little fake voice because I gotta hear. I've got a lot of I've got a lot of things going on in my life. You know, with the new baby, with some other stuff, some work related stuff. For the channel, and then just also in my own personal life. I've got calls coming from numbers that I don't normally have saved, so I answer them. I know you shouldn't answer any of these numbers that you don't have saved because they could be scam calls, but it's like I never know, man, and I can't miss a call. I got my daughter getting enrolled in preschool, you know, all this stuff. So anyways, 110.7K, 56 minutes left in this 4 hour time frame. We'll see how it goes. If it closes red, that would be a very clear signal. If we close this 4 hour time frame red, you guys, it'd be a very clear signal that we're going lower. Let's see. So I guess that's it, yeah? I don't really have anything else much more that I want to talk about. I do think that inevitably we are going to move up. I very much do believe that we will see targets of 160 to $190,000, probably right there in the middle at 180K is what I'm thinking we'll be at by the end of, if not September, sometime in October. At this point, this end of month rally that we are calling for is rather disappointing right now. I still think that we can have an end of month rally, but it might not take us to new all-time highs. Perhaps we drop a little bit more, and then going into the end of the month, we start to rally. September, going into the beginning of September, we should be breaking out to new all-time highs. I am kind of curious. This was a thought that I had before I end the video. Actually, I do want to go here and just see. I am curious to see typically how long it takes. If we go back in time and we analyze all these low points, how long does it take for Bitcoin to take out its high point afterwards? Because we do price-based analysis all the time, and I was literally just thinking, I'm doing dishes, and I'm thinking, what about time-based analysis, right? Because that could be something that's helpful too, perhaps, Literally starting with the bear market back here in November. When did we take out this high right here? When did we get above that high? It took us about, let's see, we weren't above it there technically. We did get above it right there, so 56 days. 56 days to get above that high. From this low here, when did we get above this high? We got above that high right there. Well, that was 4 days. So that's it's a little bit of a different result right there. We find this low. When did we get above that high? So we did get above that high, though it was a fake out overall. We got above that high in 8 days. That's nice. That's actually pretty reassuring, right? Although it seems as though these shorter moves up, whenever we get above those highs in a shorter amount of time, they don't persist as long. Maybe that's something to note. Here, it took us until this day here. It took us 42 days, but look, this move persisted a lot more. So 42 days. Notice the difference, right? Shorter amounts of time to get above the highs, the relative highs, and then you basically stop there. Here, longer amount of time, and we push higher. I don't know, just something that I noticed right off the bat. That doesn't mean that that's how it is. Let's keep going. Let's see. Here, getting above that was this day here. 20 days, still a little bit longer amount of time. It wasn't just an immediate move up, although that was a nice move up in itself. 20 days, and we did persist higher for quite a bit there. Here, now this one took a long time, long time. I was all the way back over here, 85 days, and we definitely persisted higher with that. So the longer they are, none of those are really, I'm not really sensing a pattern here. The only pattern that I'm seeing is, again, longer than, like, if it's less than like a week or about a week's worth of time to get above your relative high, then that tends to stunt the growth. If it's more than 2 weeks or 3 weeks of time, then you tend to get promoted growth over time. Does that make sense? Growth continues over time. We've got a low here. We could do that one real quick too, and then we'll just go. Yeah, I was just doing this for fun too. I didn't know if this would promote anything. I'm not seeing really anything too much. 44 here. We got above it and it was a fake out there. So that there goes that theory a little bit. Let's see. Or would it be relative to this high? Maybe. Because this consolidation phase is different than that consolidation phase. Maybe. I don't know. What would be? What if it was here? No. We're just gonna stick with that. If this is the low, it's not the low, but if it is the low, and I think that tomorrow we'll probably find our low, or later today, I would expect then that it would take at that rate 21 days to get above that high. Could it really be until the middle of September that we get above this high, you guys, before we see new all-time highs? It might be. In which case, again, the reason why I thought of this was I was wondering when we'd see our all-time highs, our new all-time highs, and our ultimate destination of $160,000 to $190,000. It really might be October that we see this happen. We might have to push this back another month. And that's fine, right? October tends to be pretty bullish. September tends to be neutral. Maybe, and people expect it to be a bloodbath. Maybe we dump in the beginning of September, come back up by the mid, and then we really start to run going into the end of September and into October. Again, just running with this idea of it taking like 21 days or more after you find your low, typically, to get above your high. That's the thought there. I don't know. We're in a different phase of the market now that we've been in this whole damn cycle, though. But again, I'm going to give a quick shout out to All American Crave here. And I want to go over. I want to point something out real quick, okay? Because again, I'm actually pretty impressed with the quality of the fabric and the clothes. I got a hoodie, which is sick. I'll show that actually first. We can show that the hoodie. It's this white hoodie. It just feels nice, man. It's like the quality of this is fantastic. Very clean, very fresh. I like the design, all of it. They've got all this stuff here. Let's look. Let's go on to the product line. They've got their fall production. So if you guys want any fall stuff, guys, girls, whatever, I'm gonna go to the last page here because I think I saw some fall stuff. I was looking. They got like little sweaters for girls, shorts, stuff like that. I don't normally do this stuff, guys, so I'm just kind of winging it at this point. But they got bags, they got all kinds of stuff, and it's not just for girls. There's boys stuff too. Obviously, I think the girl stuff's maybe just at the end because I swear there is more. There's some guys stuff, right? Dad hats, whatever. Socks. The socks look dope. The hoodie, I can speaking for myself. It's very nice quality. The hats are nice quality. And before I end the video, the thing that I'm actually the most excited about is the oh damn, you guys couldn't see the hoodie, could you? Did you see the hoodie? I don't know if you could. There, the hoodie. My camera was frozen, but it's very, very fresh, very nice. I think my camera was frozen. That's bad. I told you it's my first time doing this. But the thing that I'm the most excited about are these shorts, because dude, the lining. This is, I don't know if this is weird or not. I don't know how I'm doing, but I don't really care. The lining is so soft on these swim trunks, man. It's I want a pillow made out of these. It's so soft. I don't know if anybody can relate, but the thing that I genuinely hate about swim trunks, and the reason why I normally, like, if I'm going swimming, I'll wear like basketball trunks because they're more comfortable. Swim trunks, the lining, that netting that they have, or I'll cut that out, because if you sit down on anything, it just makes your ass itch. Like, it's just so uncomfortable. But this is comfortable. This is like really, really comfortable stuff, and the prices aren't bad for an all-American company. Support American-made stuff and get some quality stuff. Shout out to Anthony again for sending this. Thank you guys. I probably won't do a huge announcement in every single video like that, but I'm gonna leave a pinned comment link below for this in every single video today. So hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care of yourselves. All right, bye bye.